Welcome everyone. We'll be starting with our skirts, the down part first. So you'll mark out your waistline, your hip line, your knee line, and the full length of the down part. So after that, you start taking your circumference measurement. Okay, after you've done that, you use your ruler to connect all the circumference measurements like I'm doing. All right, please, this is not the material I'm working on. I had this video already. That is why I'm using it to explain it. I'm working with the white um, beaded lace, okay? So, but it's the same process I use in sewing my beaded lace. Okay, so here, now at the down part, I'm working with an A-line shape. So from your knee line circumference measurement, just make sure you slant to how much you want it to be spread, okay, but make sure it has the same length or at the down part and you curve it down to the center, okay. But if you are doing a straight skirt, you don't need to slant in any form. Just what measure what you have on the um your knee circumference at the full length and you just roll straight down, okay. So after you must have done this, I started adding my sewing allowance. I'm making use of 1.5 inch sewing allowance. So I added 1.5 on every side, and after which I'll be connecting with my ruler. Okay, so just follow through, follow this pattern, and you get it. And this technique is majorly what I use for my um for sewing a beaded lace because they can be so stressful at times. So the first thing I usually do is I draft on the lining and the underlay and sew first before attaching the beaded lace. So here I am done adding my sewing allowance, and this is the center front. This is the front block. Okay, sorry that I'm using my hand to block the view. I just need to cut. All right, so um when you are done cutting your front block, we are still going to be using the same front block to cut out our back. So our back, for our back, you put your material on fold, spread it on your table, measure your zipper allowance, which is will be 1.5 inch like you see me measuring here, 1.5 inch. Then you lay your front on it and use it to cut the side out. So that is what we are having, and we'll be cutting the same in the same manner on the lining. So exactly what I have for the front is also what I have for the back, including the lining. Then after you must have done that, you open up the material. This is the front block. So I'll be sewing it with the lining on both sides, even the downside. I mean the hemming line. So this is it I have here. I've ironed it out. And this is the beaded material. Okay. So I measure the beaded lace exactly what I have there. You know, I have already sewn half inch with on the lining and the underlay. So I measure the beaded lace to be exactly what I have there already. But it is 1 inch longer at the down part because I'll be folding it. I mean at the hemming line. All right. So this is what we'll be doing. After you must have set it, I'm using uwu gum here. I open up bit a side of it, attach, spread my uhu gum. You can use candle gum, you can use any type of gum. You have any fabric gum, okay? So I lay it back, then I use my hand to smoothen it out. No place should be rumpled, okay? So I'll also be doing the same for the down part. Spread the gum and lay the um beaded lace or the lace, whatever lace you are working on, lay it back on it. After you must have done this, you leave it for a while to dry before you start working on it. Okay, so it won't be misplaced. All right. So when I am done adding my gum and I use my hand to smoothen and spread it out on both the length and the breadth of it, I'll have to flip to the other side of it like I am doing now. So I'll attach my gum to the hemline and fold in the extra 1 inch I told you about. So after folding it, I'll lay it properly and also allow it to dry. But using gum alone is not enough. I will still be stitching that hemline. I'll still be stitching it, okay? So the same process I did for this is also what I'll be doing for the other part. I mean the front block and both sides of the back block. Okay, so I have stitched the hemline. Okay, so at this point you set it and you lay the other half of it and you stitch it, leaving your zipper allowance open. You leave your zipper allowance open, so make sure everything aligns properly. One side shouldn't be longer than the other. So this is the front. I want to input my pleats on one side of the front block. So the plate will be curved in a way, and it should be well arranged. So what I'm doing now, I first of all mark out my the middle of the center front, and I proceeded by 4 inch. So I went further by 4 inch um beyond the center. Okay, so I notch the center and I notch where the pleat will also be starting from. Then add for the length of the pleat is going to be the I'm going to be using the hip line, I mean the knee line. I went up by 2 inches. The knee line is 35 inches. So I'm working with 33 inches length. So after that, I'm connecting from the center, from where I marked at the top, down to the length of the pleat, which is the knee line, like I said. So it's going to be curved in a way. So I'm using my curve ruler, but at a point I have to use my hand to get the curve. So when after the marking it out, you cut it out. I'm cutting only the lace now, not the underlay. Only the lace is what I'm cutting right now. Okay, so just to create space, if you can sew, because I tried to sew directly on it and the bead was just too troublesome for me, so I had to reduce layers of bead. That is why I'm cutting off that side. But if you can sew, work on your own without cutting it off, good and fine. So I cut off mine and I started laying my pleats. The material I'm using for the measurement I use for the pleats is 5 inches. I cut out 5 inches in breadth, okay, and I folded it. It becomes 2.5. Then I start laying it one at a time. Once I lay it, I sew. Once I lay, I sew till I got to this stage. So at the extreme end of it, I I left some parts, put my beaded lace on top, then I use the pleats to cover it up, okay, and I stitch. After stitching, I'll be applying these trimmings in 3 places, like you see me do, okay. So I'll first of all use a gum before stitching. So after stitching, you have to give it a very good press, and this is what we are having: clean and smooth. So we move to our front, to the front block, the top, the front of the top, which is the bustier. We are drafting out the bustier here. So I started. You first of all roll your shoulder line, your bust, up bust, your bust line, under bust, and the half length, which is your waistline. Okay, so I marked out my shoulder and slant it. Then I also mark out the um, armhole length. Okay, so I get the middle of the armhole length, roll it out. On the middle, I'll be going in by 5 half inch, so for me to get the curve of our armhole. All right, so here I've been able to do that. um Make sure you are placing it properly. So after getting your armhole, then I move down to the bust span, which is 8 divided by 2, 4 inches, and I marked 4 inches um on the lines, and I connected it. That's from the up bust to the half length. Okay, so I connected it. After I have connected, I've gotten my bust span. Okay, so I mark out half inch on one side of it for the dart, and 3 inches on the other side for the bust curve. Okay, so, and I also went up in between the bust line. I went up by 1/4 inch and went down by 3/4 inch. Then on the up bust, I mark half inch on one side and 3/4 on the other side. Okay, so then I move to my neckline. I move to my neckline. The neckline is a bit tricky. Okay, so it's a V, but I didn't like the curve I'm getting, so I have to use my hands to carve out the my desired curve. Okay, so I'm trying to cover up the mistake I made there, because the lines are not straight. So not for me not to be confused, I have to use a paper tip to mask it up. Then after that, I started drafting the neckline. Like I said, it is a bit tricky. So you just need to look at the picture like I'm showing you right now to get the shape, the desired shape. So this is how I am getting my, okay. From the whole bust, I went up by around 3 inches or 2.5, so I could get my curve there. All right, so after doing that, uh the curve wasn't pleasant, so I had to max it up and retry again to make sure I'm getting the curve I want there. So after that, I moved to the up bust. I marked half inch like I've marked it before. So I'm connecting now. I'm connecting it, and I'll be also be connecting the other side as well. That is for our bust curve. For our bust curve. So I'm just connecting what we have marked out before. Okay, so like I said, I made use of 3 inches here. If you are here to subscribe, please click on the subscription button and the notification button as well. Don't forget to also drop a thumb up for us. Okay, so on the half length, I extended my measurements, then I ruled out. So after you must have ruled um your measurement out, the next is to go to your circumference measurement. Also here, I have to return what I removed from the dart area, because it was going to affect the armhole if I didn't return it. So I extended it, because I removed 1.5 inch. I have to return the 1.5 inch. Okay, then from here we'll move to our circumference measurements. So I'm taking the measurements of the under bust, and I'll also do for the bust. I'll also do for the half length, I mean the waistline. Okay, then I'll also measure my armhole circumference. So I'm working with armhole circumference of 20 inches divided by, 19 inches divided by 2 is going to be 9.5. All right, so from there we'll connect. This is the armhole length I'm measuring, I'm retaking. Okay, so 9.5, then you connect. So after you've gotten your measurement perfectly, you start adding your sewing allowance. I make use of 1.5 inch sewing allowance. So at this point, I'll be using my marker to highlight all what we have done so far, so it can be visible and you can see it clearly. Okay, so don't forget to add your sewing allowance on your shoulder. I mean on your shoulder slant. Don't forget to add your sewing allowance. Okay, and get all other places that are necessary. Your sewing allowance is very, very important. So at this point, I'll be inputting my side dart. All right, so which is 1.5 inch. That's the difference between the length of the back and the front. So I use 1.5 inch, I cut it out, okay, and then we'll have our pattern. The back block is also drafted in the same way. Okay, so I have cut it out and I added my sewing allowance on at every necessary part, even on the yoke. All right, so from here, I added a stay on all the lining and on the underlay as well. Then I'll start joining. Okay, this is the black back. I make sure I added my um that, okay, and I sewed it, getting it ready. So I will be joining the front block, the front. Then we'll move to our okay, bust. So just make sure you, first of all, that's your already made bra cup. So I darted it like 3/4 inch. Okay, so after darting it, I'll be using this boning. I'm using 1/2 inch boning here because I just want to use it to hold it in place first, because I'll be removing it later on. Okay, so I stitch it to the extreme end of the bra cup, right at the down part, at the under bust of the bra cup. Okay, so I'm just using it to hold it in place, like I said. So the major one is after fixing that one, I make sure I align the bra cup to make sure it's giving me the bust band measurement I will be needing. So I'm working with 8-inch bust band. So I use a pin to hold it in the middle to get my bust band measurement. Okay, so after doing that, I used the bony to place it um to hold it together. All right, so and it's almost like nipple point to nipple point length. That's for the bony. So now I'm now using a 1/4 inch bony now, because I'll be sewing it round the under bust, right from the side to the other side. So it's going to be round. To do this, you need the 1/4 inch bony. All right, so that is what I'm doing now. So when I get to the point of where the previous bony is, I'll stop and I'll go and remove the previous bony so that I can now replace it with this bony. All right, please like, share, and subscribe. All right, so I've gotten to the place. I stopped and I went to remove the previous bony so I can proceed with this 1/4 inch bony I'm using now. So just to complete my circle, the from one end to the other end. Okay, so after stitching it, I went the second way to top stitch on the second line as well. Okay, like you can see, so it is already giving us the shape we want. Okay, this method is majorly for those of you that are finding bust caging very difficult. Okay, so for you not to have the um stress again, that's why I'm coming up with this. So after doing that, I'm now adding boning to the sweetheart neckline that I have there. Okay, so at this point I'm also using a 1/4 inch boning here. So I'll first of all do the first side. When I get to the middle, I'll cut it, then I'll start with the second side so that both will meet at the middle. All right, okay. So like I said, this method is for those of you that are always getting a flat surface after the buscaging your bra cup. So this is very easy. Here we are making use of already made bra cup, and the process is very quick too. So, and also for those of us that also want to do a quick break up, okay, you don't want to spend so much time creating, starting from the scratch. This is a very good method for you, okay, that I've come up with, and it's just too, it's too good. The result is wow. The result is wow. All right. So presently I am on the other side of the sweetheart neckline. Okay. So make sure you are stitching and it is overlapping on at the meeting point. All right, so this is just for you to sustain that curve, to sustain that curve. All right, so at this point, please remember to drop a thumb up, and if you have not subscribed, please don't sit on a long thing. Subscribe so you always get to be updated on every fashion trends. Okay, so here we are done with our um caging. So we are going to be proceeding to the next phase. I really want to teach you the whole process. So that is why I'm going to be stopping here. So let's proceed further to how I now make use of it, of how I attach it to um my dress. Okay, so look at the inside, look at how beautiful and standing it is right now. Okay, so here I now make sure I align the back up with the underbust of the lining of the material I'm working with. This is the lining. So I place the right side of the back up on the wrong side, facing the wrong side of the lining, and I pinned it. After pinning it, I went to stitch all around like I used my hand to show you. Okay, so I stitch all around and I removed the pin here. So shooting it out to the right side, you can see how pointy and beautiful it is. So at this stage, I make sure I now attach it to the neckline of the dress I'm working on. So that's the lining and the dress now. They are now together. So here we are going to be molding our bracket. So I'll make sure you push it out properly and put your tailor's arm underneath as well. Make sure you put your tailor's hem underneath. All right, so here I'll be making use of the hemming gum generously. Okay, so make sure you are putting the hemming gum on every side as far as the bra covers. Okay, so place the hemming gum at every spot. After doing that, use your hand to hold the hemming gum in place and pull your clothes, the clothes. I'm working with beaded lace here, so it can be a bit tough. Okay, so pull your place, make sure it is well fixed with the lining. All right, so after you are sure it is well seated, look for a wet material, okay, or you use a steaming iron. All right, I am used to the local ironing. If you have a steaming iron, I have a steaming iron, but I just prefer this one because it's just timely and it doesn't disappoint me. So I depend on this one. All right, so just mold it like I'm doing from center to the side, center to side, and voila, you are going to be getting this result. Can't you see how standing it is? It is looking very well, very seated well on on the chest. So at this point, because of the design I'm working with, I attach uh, these trimmings on it with gum. Okay, so I'm using gum at first just to hold it in place. All right, so please remember to give a thumb up, click on the notification bell. All right, okay, so I'm making sure it is straightened up and aligns with the shape of the bust. Okay, so I'm going to be doing same for the other side. I'm using gum to attach it. So after attaching it, I'll be using my needle and thread to stitch it in place. Just using gum alone is not enough. Okay, so if you know you have learned something and you have watched this far, kindly click on the like button, the notification bell, and subscribe please, subscribe. All right, so that this video can get to more people and the update can go around. Okay, so with this bus caging, I don't think any fashion designer will be having any difficulty in caging a bust. And this is very easy and beautiful, and it's also um less stressful to work with. Honestly, coming up with this thing is just something of joy to me. Okay, so it is time to start joining both half lengths together. This is the front. I'll be joining the up and down together. This is the back, and also I'll be joining the up and back together and insert my zipper. All right, this is both of them. I've joined them. I'll put them on top of each other and join at the shoulder line, and also on the side. So after joining it, I added my sleeve, and this is how we got this beautiful damsel standing here. All right, so remember to subscribe and drop a thumb up for us. Please like, share, and comment on this video. I'll see you in my next video. I love you all. Thanks for standing with me. God bless you all.